There can be no freedom as long as there's one group that's oppressed, because it's only a matter of time before they come for you. Kimberlé Crenshaw came up with the term intersectionality to describe Black women who were in court because they were being discriminated against for being both Black and women, but they were not able to get justice because that idea had not been explored before. Intersectional feminism looks at all forms of inequality, not just gender-based, but race, ethnicity, language barriers, everything. And it says that there can be no equality without equality in all forms. I am a first-generation Muslim American feminist who used to be undocumented and grew up poor. But even when I was undocumented, I had privilege. I was able-bodied, had a job. I lived in America. There is an indigenous women's rights activist in Australia who said to white feminists, "If you're here to save me, I'm not interested in working with you. But if you understand that your freedom is intricately connected to mine, then let's work together." I consider myself a Muslim feminist. My Islam says that you have to be an activist if you consider yourself Muslim. One of the most important tenets of Islam is that you have to speak up for any form of injustice. If you don't, that is considered a sin. And to me, any kind of inequality is a form of injustice. We must end all forms of oppression. I get it. When we feel scared, we want to be selfish and think about ourselves. There's fear for feminism and equality because the powers that be don't want to give up power because they're scared and they think that the pie is limited. The pie is not limited. As a society and as a species, we have amassed more wealth than the entire history of humankind. The people who are standing in the way of feminism, they're behaving like children who are scared of the unknown. One of the best ways of squashing a movement is by vilifying the words associated with it. Think about the people who really vilify feminism. People like Pat Robertson, who says that feminism encourages women to kill their children and become witches. I was coming across young feminists across the country who were saying that their voices and leadership were not being centered. My entire life has been about fighting for the underdog, and we need young people's leadership. If our species is going to survive, it's going to be the young people. The way I've led this chapter is really about fostering the leadership of young people and just stepping back. I'm in touch with 15 and 16-year-olds across the country who are starting feminist clubs in high school. One young woman in high school organized a conference with 150 attendees, including her state senator. We're absolutely making progress. And she's not in the third wave, she's in the fourth wave. Yes, there is a fourth wave right now. It's really about the young people who've grown up with the advantages that the first three waves have given them and have really educated themselves using blogs. And they tend to be more bold. My call to action for International Women's Day and every day is to start thinking about a group that you have privilege over. And I know that word can be triggering for people because you might be thinking, my president brags about sexually assaulting women. What privilege do I have? But most of us have some form of privilege. So please start learning about groups that you do have privilege over. If you're an able-bodied person, read one blog post by a person with disability. If you're a white woman, please read one blog post by somebody who is a woman of color and really be brave. Being intersectional requires courage because it requires us to admit that we have unconscious biases. I know I do. I am getting better each day. Please have courage and have compassion toward yourself, forgive yourself, and move forward.